Peter Casey, I'm here in beautiful Trinity College Dublin. We're going to discuss the Irish education system. If you were running it as a business, what changes would you make? Is the Irish education system, is it fit for purpose?
It's quite stressful. It's having to think of doing your assignments, your exams, and then we have a dissertation as well, and then we have a big placement project at the end of our placement. So to have all of that on top of you, and then to think about your accommodation and how you're going to sustain yourself for the month is pretty stressful. If I didn't live with my family, I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably be on the streets and I wouldn't be in college.
When I went to university, you know, I got away from home. Parents were delighted to see me leave.
You know? Yeah, it's not the case anymore.
Not the case anymore, you know. So do you feel you're missing out on that sort of that university experience?
I think I do.
Well, my thing is that education should be free. Third level education should be free, and that, you know, but I would put in a caveat that you have to stay in Ireland for 5 to 6 years after, so that you pay back in taxes the money that we're spending on you.
If education had been free for you, would you like that idea that you had to stay here for 5 or 6 years?
No, I don't think so. I think now, I mean, you know, had I been given the choice and had I decided to, you know, to take the option of free education, I think I would consign myself to staying the 5 years. But I think there would be a swing against that.
Maybe 5 out of 7 years. You know, I mean, I think it's great. People need to travel and they need to experience other countries, other cultures. What are you doing with it?
Politics and economics.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Same as myself.
Yes, indeed. I read that. Yeah. I had an exam last night. You featured in one of the questions. Yeah. So.
What was the question?
Well,
I'll give you.
Prefer not to know, maybe.
Is enough money invested in education here in Ireland?
No.
There needs to be a revolution, I think, in the whole way that we look at education in Ireland. I think massive open online courses are going to be a major part in reducing the cost of education, and I think that is something that we need to look at.
All the indications still are that students are generally happy with their colleges. Employers are generally happy with the graduates. The danger, though, is if you continue to grow numbers and don't provide sufficient resources for the numbers, that at some point you reach a tipping point. And the trouble with the tipping point is you don't know that you're there until you're there. And if a point comes where the quality of our higher education graduates is seriously questioned, then our whole model of economic development in Ireland is under threat.
The higher education system here in Ireland, is it fit for purpose as far as you're concerned?
Well, it's fit for some purposes, but not for all. I think it's fit in terms of preparing young people for a very rapidly changing employment market. It's not fit in other respects. It's not fit financially. There was a report last week about one particular third-level institution that is in serious financial difficulties. It's not the only one. It's not fit also in terms of bringing enough people from disadvantaged backgrounds into college. 16% of all first-year students going into Trinity and UCD are from the fee-paying sector. Yet the fee-paying sector only represents 7% of the total enrolment of second-level students in the country. So there is a very unequal education system. It works better than some countries, not as well as other countries. Successive governments are terrified of either increasing the charge on students through increased tuition fees or introducing a loan scheme, which has been recommended 3 years ago now by a very important committee chaired by Peter Castle.
5 out of 7 years they have to work in Ireland, and then that would essentially they'd be paying back their loan through taxes. You know.
Do you think that's workable?
No.
It's a thought of it's trying to kill two birds with one stone. Yeah. There's lots of birds around here at the moment. But one of the things is, how do we stop this migration of our talent? It's important that people do travel, get experience of life's travel, but then it's also important that we encourage them to come back to Ireland. I really believe that the future of education is MOOCs, massive open online courses, and we should look at ways of exploring where our Irish students can go and spend part of the university course in another university. We have a problem here. A third of the people that are born in Ireland have left Ireland. A third of the people working in Dublin weren't born in Ireland. You know, we have a problem. We're losing people from Ireland. One of my suggestions is that we look at giving third level education free. It wouldn't be free. You'd have to it would essentially be a loan, as it were, and you would get, as long as you stayed in Ireland for 5 of the next 7 years, you know, you would then you would repay by paying your taxes.